yapping for like a solid 3 to 5 minutes, and I didn't hit live. It's nice. That's good though, because I get to reorganize my thoughts. So there's only perfection. Anyways, I wanted to go through my concept of, or my theory that I'm about to like bridge together, which is 2 concepts, kind of 3, but more like 2. This is 3. Is that someone actually here? Oh, my dog Romano. Yo, what up, guys? What's poppin', bro? So Romano, bro, I'm about to go through a theory of mine that basically interweaves this concept that I've been learning from a profound spiritual teacher. His name is Rabbi Mark Gaffney. He is into Kabbalah, which is basically mystic Judaism. It's a lot more than that, but just to simplify, right? But Kabbalah has a lot of very, very beautiful esoteric teachings, and I think that Mark, he's like 65 years old. Like, this dude was a rabbi, like traditional, and then he left that path, and he's actually been pursuing this like more mystical, esoteric path for 25 years plus, I think. And so he has this concept of the 7 levels of self that I've been learning recently from a podcast of his, and it just resonates so deeply with me. And I was like, I feel like this aligns so deeply with the 7 chakra system, and like the law of one concept, and my spiritual teacher, Aaron Atke, he has a concept called spiritual intelligence, which is basically the awareness and embodiment of the true nature of reality, law of one. But honestly, what I conceptualize is this 7 levels of self. I think this is the highest standard that we can hold ourselves to, the 7 levels of self that I'm going to get into. So, good day, Chan. What up, Romano? Having a good day as well, man. Vera, was popping, gang. What up, what up, what up? Yeah, I'm mad hyped to talk about this. I think this is going to hit for you, Vera. I'm not going to lie. I'm calling you out, so you might want to stay. Anyways, let me start writing. I'm rambling right now. So, where's my red marker at? Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to write out the 7 levels of self first, and I'll write out the chakras that associate with them. Okay, so we have, actually that is not a good idea, just because we should stick with the color at the same time. That makes sense. So the first level of self is the pre-personal self. And this is associated with our first chakra, the root chakra, right? And the root is associated, now I'm not going to lie, my chakra knowledge is a bit rusty, so if you guys are more knowledgeable, you should help me out, actually. But I have like basic understanding, I have a very intuitive feeling of these things. So the root chakra is associated with our most primal nature, right? It's our most animalistic, it's most tied to the physical plane, right? This is more around like fight, fuck, sex, you know what I mean? Like very primalistic, animalistic survival things that we need to like continue like as a species, right? You know what I think? You know what I'm saying? Romano said, bro, I wish I could stay on, but I'm at work. I'll explain, brother. Yeah, no, dude. All good, Romano. Peace out, dude. But that is the root chakra, right? And the pre-personal self is basically this concept of, this is before you even have personality, right? It says pre-personal self, right? This is the self before you actually are the self, right? Before you have an identity of self, before you've developed ego, let's say. So like a baby, right? Before a baby even, I think it's like 18 months where a child really starts developing like an identity of self. It's just associated with the mother, right? It identifies with the mother. It's one with the mother. And then it starts developing into the second level, which is level 2, which is the separate self. Now, this is where most of society is. And this is associated with the sacral. And the sacral chakra is the chakra of desire, like real, like will, interest, And the thing is, all of these have light and dark, right? Well, actually, not necessarily. This is hard. I'm still learning these, right? So don't quote me on all of this, or you can quote me on some of this. But if I don't sound too sure, don't take me on it, because I'm just learning this myself. Actually, no, that'd be good. Let me try to find this link real quick. Can I leave this app and it'll still be on? Oh, let me see. I think we're good. Hold on. Let me try to find the link real quick. Yeah, there we go. Let me get this. Oh yeah, we're lit. Okay, so I got the link for the actual pod. That Rabbi Mark Gaffney, he talked about 7 levels of self. So you guys should quote him. Don't quote me. But I'm going to explain this to you because I like this, and I'm going to connect this with the chakras because he didn't talk about that, and I think that's a cool idea. Okay? So this is why it's called in the lab, because like we're cooking. You know what I mean? Like we're in the lab, we're making stuff. All right. So the separate self is the concept of separateness, right? So basically, this is when you first start getting aware, right? It's this like, oh, okay, I am somebody who can be separate. Now, inherently, separateness doesn't have to be darkness. It doesn't have to be distorted. But a lot of separateness is partial, right? Or all separateness is partial because inherently the separate self is the false self, right? And that actually kind of gets us into three. Let's just write that down. We might as well. The false self. And this is a more distorted version of the separate self. Because inherently, what makes you unique, what makes you separate, doesn't have to be bad, right? It doesn't even have to be distorted. What you are as a child, what's inherently compelling to you as a kid, doesn't necessarily have to be something that's false or distorted or something that was put onto you through, bullshit programming that your parents or the school system or religious dogma or, or whatever crap. You know what I mean? What is it? Solar plexus. Solar plexus. And I think that the false self and the solar plexus, this is where things really start getting interesting. Because this is the what's the word? Chakra. This is the chakra of power. The solar plexus is about our personal will, right? And our false self is huge because our false self will unconsciously will our reality in alignment with it, right? The subconscious is the womb of your reality. And so if you have things in your subconscious that you don't know about, which you most likely don't, it's the subconscious, it's the darkness, right? I have tons of things in my subconscious I have no fucking clue about, right? Those things can come out in the false self. And this is why we have to shed light on the darkness, right? We have to not see the false self as separate from us, right? Or we shouldn't reject these parts of ourselves that we've been putting in the darkness that people have told us aren't good enough, I'll get pretty vulnerable. Yeah, vulnerable. I'll get pretty vulnerable with you guys real quick in terms of something I've been seeing recently in terms of my own darkness manifesting. I've struggled with lust for a long time. I discovered pornography at 10, which is horrible. And I'm 21. And for about all of last year, well, not all of last year, for about the last 3/4 of last year, I had I had a much better relationship than I did the first 9 years of my life with pornography and with masturbation, with lust, and with impulses and sexual desire. And for most of I'll say the last 10 years of my life, I've probably given into lust. I've probably masturbated. I've probably watched porn for most of those days. Probably 80-90% of those days, very easily. And so, that's programming that was very instilled into me. And I didn't realize that a lot of it manifested from darkness and from things that I suppressed from relationships with my mom, with my grandmother, and also, which was very interesting, my first girlfriend when I was 8 years old. So I'll get into that last one last. But I'll talk about my two maternal figures, right? So growing up, I have my parents were never together, and so I usually bounce back and forth between living with my mom and my grandparents, or with my dad. And so it would be not great because I'd only go to my dad's every other weekend, and that changed when I was 10. I'm not gonna get into that. I'll go on too many tangents, but it was tough, bouncing back and forth. I didn't really have real foundation to stand on. You know what I mean? I always felt like I had identities I had to switch between because my roles were always so different. When I was with my mom and my grandparents, I was the youngest, right? It was me, my sister, and me and my sister are full siblings. We both have the same dad, same mom. And then, I was the baby, and the baby boy, especially at that. I was the first boy in two generations. My grandparents, my mama and papa, my mom's parents, they don't have any sons. My grandmother has a brother, and so does my grandfather, but there was none in my mom's generation. You know what I mean? And so when I popped out, they were like, the hell do we do with this kid? And at the same time, I wasn't spending much time with my dad every other weekend. And then when I was there, he was working a lot of the time, or he wasn't really there. And so I had a lot of disconnect with my main masculine figure, which was my dad. And although my grandfather was in my life, I didn't really feel as connected to him in terms of like, this is my figure who I like look up to and respect. Of course, I looked up to and respected my grandfather a ton. And my grandfather was my hero growing up, especially. But I kind of had this like resonance that like it shouldn't have been that way. Like I felt like it should have been my dad. And my dad is my hero to this day, and he always has been, really. But I had that disconnect, and although I appreciated all the time and like the presence that my dad really gave me, because he always had the presence, he always had the love, always, and that was the thing that was abundant. That was always in abundance with my dad. His actual like availability wasn't at times, and you know, at times when I needed to be vulnerable, he was the person that I could go to, and he wasn't available for that. You know, and then at times, I mean, over time, our relationship even started getting distorted, where I felt like I couldn't even go to my dad. And that started going into the point where I started basically just cutting myself off from a lot of my family. And my mom is the most loving, amazing woman. I love my mom, and I'll do anything for her. But my mom is disabled. She has multiple sclerosis, and she has for the past 26 years. She got diagnosed in 1999. And honestly, you know, it's a very difficult thing growing up seeing your mother like deteriorate. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard. And a lot of that time, especially towards middle school and high school, I felt like I had to sacrifice myself at times in my life and the things I wanted to do because I had to be there for her. And obviously, not to say that I don't want to show up for my mom and I don't want to be there for her, but it's like, you know, there would be times where um, she would like ask me to do something with her or ask me to go somewhere with her. Or like, you know, not even ask, it's like we have to go. It's like I don't really have a choice. Like I'm the only person that can go with her at this time, you know, stuff like that. My sister would be there sometimes, and honestly, my sister's got the much worse end of it. But still, I feel like I had to give of myself at times where I feel like I didn't want to give of myself, and that's hard, you know, especially as a kid. And that honestly created resentment for me and my mom. Um, and it took a long time for that to come into my awareness because I didn't see the distortion with my mom until I saw the resentment, and I didn't understand it as resentment because I didn't understand that like the negativity could manifest in that way. I only knew sadness and anger. You know, I knew like anger with my grandmother. I knew anger with my dad. I knew sadness with them. But I didn't really understand this like resentment I had with my mom until um like this summer. It was a few months ago. Um and after that, that's when things started like really changing for me because I started really being able to like shift how I perceive my feminine figure, my main feminine figures. And I eventually kind of got to this point. Like my distortion with my grandmother was that growing up, I would get whenever I'd like come to her with anger or sadness, I it's very interesting actually. For like the first 4 to 5 years of my life, I like worshipped my grandmother. And then at like 5, 6, like once I got to elementary school, like the first 2 years, like things like whoosh, it was like then it went to like mom, you know what I mean? And the relationship I had with like honestly, I feel like for the first few years of my life, my grandmother was more of like my maternal figure, my closest one, rather than my mom. And then it switched after I got to like elementary school, so about 5, 6. And then at that point, this like relationship I had with my grandmother was like huge in terms of like polarity. But it wasn't just like, oh, you know, sometimes we're good and then sometimes it's like whatever. it was this distorted polarity of like, oh, sometimes we're amazing, and then other times when I want to be sad or like I'm angry and I don't really know how to express that, I'm getting told to shut up. I'm getting told that you shouldn't cry, that boys can't cry, to suck it up. And I didn't know what was like happening. I didn't know how to talk about these things. I didn't know how to express myself. And I didn't like understand that, right? I wasn't taught that. My mother damn sure wasn't taught that. So I didn't know it, you know what I mean? And so I basically around like 8 kind of just started like, woo, just gonna go inside, just gonna go in the hole. And I really started developing this false self of unworthiness. And this is the thing, this is where the false self can really start getting distorted. It's like the solar plexus has to do with power. There's a couple shadows to power, right? There's manipulation and using power to control people. There's also the denial of your power, right? And that's what I was in. Because I didn't even know, I didn't even think I had power. I thought I was unworthy. I didn't think I was powerful. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was valuable. I thought that what I was conditional. I thought that what I received was conditional because it was. That's how it was. That's how it felt, at least. I felt like the main source of like unconditional love in my life was dad. And I saw him, what, 20% of the time, maybe? If that. But it wasn't all bad. That's for sure. I'm gonna take these off. It's like be more real. It wasn't all bad. Because I had a lot of life. I had a lot of light in my life. And that's not the false self. That's the separate self. Because there is something sacred about separateness. And this is like a big concept that Mark Rabbi, like Mark Gaffney talks about. We confuse separateness and uniqueness. Let me just write down the fourth one because this will make more sense. So fourth one is true self. So in this, which is associated with the heart chakra, love. Oh, I should have put heart, not love. So the true self is the one, right? This is what we're taught, right? In the spirituality spaces and the mystical traditions, and this is, of course, the correct. This is obviously a fact, right? This is objective truth of reality that there's only God. Okay. However, just because God is one doesn't mean that the one has no features, because that's not true. Because everything in the one is unique, right? We're all a unique feature of the one, infinite creator. I mean, inherently, infiniteness has to be. How can man? It's like I don't even know how to conceptualize this. All right. Let's just say fuck that point. It doesn't matter. The one is the true self. This is where a lot of people stop. You see how the title of this is called The 7 Levels, right? That's it. The 7 levels. The ancient traditions, right? A lot of people stop at the true self. I mean, most people stop at the separate self or the false self, right? So if you're stopping at the true self, then you're probably better off than most people, but you're still suffering. And how Mark explained it is that, for a lot of, early, times, like the ancient wisdom traditions, they saw true self as the way to enlightenment, right? Oh yeah, you'll leave suffering by, yep, separate self, that's not real, get out of here. dissolve the ego, deny the separate self, embrace the one true creator, right? It's like, okay, there is some validity to that, absolutely, right? Separation is an illusion, but that doesn't mean that our individual manifestations, right, aren't inherently important. And I want you to think about it like this. Before we get into the other ones, I want to draw you this because this will make everything clear. Imagine this box is not a box. This is we're gonna get there. Trust. Just let me cook for a second, all right? Hello. This is really bad for what I'm trying to do. Wow, this is really not good, actually. Not gonna lie. All right, you know what? Let's make this a lot easier for me. Let's just be lazy. Let's just be lazy. You guys will get it. It's fine. I was trying to be cute. I don't want to be cute. I don't feel like it. So this is a puzzle. Okay, let's just label it puzzle, just so you remember, or for anyone that comes in. This is a puzzle. The true self is the puzzle. There's one puzzle here, right? There's not like a second puzzle or anything, right? Like, I don't think you see a second puzzle set. I didn't draw another one, right? Okay, cool. So there's one puzzle, right? True self, one. Correct. Yes. And yet, in the one, there are all these different puzzle pieces. Are you going to tell me that none of these puzzle pieces are important? You're going to tell me that if this piece wasn't here, what if that was gone? What if I just erased this? The true self, the one, is no longer the one. A part of the one is missing. And this is impossible, right? In the Kabbalion, they teach that the all is indivisible. Nothing can be separated from the one. Okay. So if nothing can be separated from the one, that means all pieces of the one are needed, are required. And you know what that means? That means that your piece is needed. You are needed. And that is beautiful. Because that means that you are home here in the divine. You're home here. I don't know. I mean, that makes my heart just feel a bit more peaceful. I just feel that in my body. Wow, this feels great. So, we're a puzzle piece. That's a part of the true self. Okay, interesting. So what does that mean? Oh man, this board is really bad. All right, I cannot go down with this. I cannot go down with this. This is disgusting. Oh my god, this is disgusting. Hold on. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I swear, I feel like Nero really spoiled everybody when it comes to like having a clean whiteboard. I cannot look at a dirty whiteboard anymore now, bro. Fucking Nero, man. This guy's out here fucking raising our standards of whiteboards. If that isn't abundance, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? What a fucking legend. Alright. Yo, shout out Nero, bro. On me. That's the go right there. So, level 4. Oh, that's wrong. I want this one. Level 5. Level 5 is where we start getting interesting. This is why you're really here. What's this called? What's this thing called? Yeah, the throat. There we go. All right. Let me just write some basic things here. Survival, desire, power. I wish I had a real yellow. That'd be cool. Love. I'll say wisdom slash authenticity. I'll say wisdom and authenticity. Because that's really how the throat chakra is expressed. I mean, think about it. You know, I've struggled a lot with a blocked throat chakra in my life, feeling like I couldn't really be my unique self, my authentic self. Like that is how a distorted throat chakra manifests, as not speaking, not acting as your true self, not thinking as your true self, your unique self, not your true self. And so what the unique self is, there's actually an equation for this, which is pretty cool. I like it. Mark says that the unique self is the true self plus the unique perspective, right? So I'll just say unique POV. That'll make it easier. Unique POV. And unique perspective is basically your story. Think about that, right? It's like what you've experienced in your life. We all have a unique story, unique experiences, unique skill sets, unique attributes, unique personalities. You know what I mean? We all have that inherent uniqueness to us because we're all an individual puzzle piece that is precisely unique and absolutely necessary. So your unique perspective plus your true self. But there's another part of this. And this is where things get very interesting. Your unique desire. All right, actually, before that, let me actually find something that Mark said. Because he'll say it much more beautifully than I could trying to paraphrase him. It's not unique desire. It's unique intimacy. That is somewhat similar, kind of different though. Kind of different. Unique intimacy. Actually, yeah, I remember how Mark explained this. So, at first I'd written your unique desire because inherently the universe is about desire. That is what evolution is. Evolution is the desire to become more, to expand. The nature of the infinite is to expand. It's to evolve. It is being and becoming. There's paradox all throughout the universe. This is why I wear this, because it reminds me of these metaphysical principles, of something that plagued me for a long time, duality and polarity, thinking that I had to split these two sides of myself. I'm half black and half Puerto Rican. I love math. I've always identified with the nerd stereotype, but also the athlete. Right? I did long distance, track. Cross country. I did swimming. I did soccer growing up. I did track in high school. I've always loved athleticism. Like I did a ton. I wasn't really into competitive sports, but like in PE or whatever, I was always one of the most athletic kids in class. Right? I was honestly him at most sports besides basketball. I really could not shoot. I had no hand-eye coordination when it came to like shooting a basketball. I was really good at everything else. Like I could catch footballs. Like I was him. I had wide receiver. I could be running back. I'm fast as fuck, boy. Like bro, like I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, basketball is just I don't know. I got all this hype for nothing. I guess whatever. So I was had those kind of dualistic natures, right? Science or spirituality. I'm not gonna lie. From a young age, I kid you not. I like from 10 years old, I was kind of like holding like the concept of Genesis, right? The story in Genesis. I was like, yeah, what if this isn't really like literal, but this is more of like a metaphor for what like really happened, and like science kind of like can kind of grasp what's going on. It's like it's really explaining the same thing here. You know what I mean? Like I always thought that what science and spirituality are both getting at are really the same essence. I kind of had that inclination at a young age, and I kind of just had like my soul just understood that, which makes sense, right? If you guys know anything about like numerology, this is interesting. Someone posted this morning. Her name is Brianna. Yo, Brianna, if you're watching this, if you're in here right now, that's the goat right there. Shout out. But she was like, yo, how does your numerology or how does your life path come out in your writing? And so I'm a life path number 11, which is one of the master numbers. And that is the master empath, the intuitive, the spiritual thought leader. And that is, I mean, who I am. I've always been a super empathetic, super compassionate person, but I've always been also an intellectual, right? And I find that I'm very good at bridging both of these sides, and that I can help people with spiritual and like metaphysical understanding, and like with using these things practically, because I've always been good at being able to hold both sides, right? Because I've always been able to look at both sides, but for so long I saw them as opposites, and I thought I had to like pick one or the other, and I didn't know that I had to hold both if I wanted to have harmony. That's what you have to do. You have to hold both for harmony. Otherwise you're in disorder, you're in chaos. That's the truth. There is no harmony without paradox. I want you to hold that one. I want you to contemplate that. Write that down. There is no harmony without chaos. I mean, paradox. There is no harmony without paradox. So, I was talking about your unique desire. The universe desires you. The universe needs you. It wants you because it wants to evolve. It craves to evolve. God craves to know God deeper, to understand itself deeper, to love itself deeper, to experience itself deeper. And that crave is desire, right? This desire comes out of all of us, right? And it's not necessarily like this egotistical desire that can come from separate self, like a distorted version of separate self, but this can come from like this. This can be true, sacred. I mean, sacred desire. Desire is sacred. It is, but it's had such a distorted perspective because of the desire of man, right, rather than the desire of God. And like the desire of God is true, and it is beautiful, and it is what is deep in your heart, your deepest and truest heart's desire. Like I love to say that your intuition is the will of God. It is the desire of God moving through you. So act on it. And the thing is, it's like when you don't act on it, it's like, hold up. It's like God had desire that wanted to live through you, and you didn't actualize that. It's like something is misaligned with the nature of reality. Reality is about desire. It's about aliveness. It's about expansion. And if you're not aligned with that, then you're going to feel that. I can guarantee it. I mean, of course, we have to experience misalignment at times. But the thing is, it's like if we're constantly in misalignment, right? If that is our state of being at most of the time, then we have to ask ourselves, how am I creating this reality? Because you are, genuinely. All suffering is from perception. And if you can shift your perception, you can transmute. Now, that's obviously a way more masculine approach. Love and acceptance and forgiveness is the more feminine approach. And of course, there's nuance to a lot of these things, and I'm not going to talk too deep about that because everyone is different. But when it comes to embracing your unique desire and what you desire for life and what life desires for you, right? What God desires for you, right? God desires you. God desires you to evolve because that is how God evolves. God sees and experiences and loves God's self. God knows God's self through you and through all of us. And so, through as Mark would say, love intelligence and love beauty and love desire of life, we are manifested. And when we're not aligned with that love intelligence, love beauty, love desire, something's off. And so that is the combination of unique self, or the unique self equation. True self, unique perspective, and unique intimacy equals the unique self. Julio. And when you're aligned with your unique self, your authenticity, what you truly feel in your deepest heart's desire, when you have the wisdom of love, when you can really be tapped into your heart, but you can have wisdom and discernment and understand, what is this? Is this truly my deepest heart's desire? Or is this something of man, right? Or is this something that has been programmed into me, right? When you can have that wisdom as well, that's when you can start tapping into unique self, right? With the throat chakra. My throat, actually, my throat is kind of cooked right now. Let me grab some of this. Let me grab some of that. All right. I was going to say my board is about to be cooked again, which is true. Oh, this is really bad. I need to get like whiteboard cleaner. I should have bought some yesterday. I don't know why I didn't. My brain was just not working. So yeah. Yo, you guys want to take a quick intermission and hear me play the first part of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? I'm starting to learn keyboard. This is really exciting. If I get 1 thumbs up, we're gonna do it. But if I don't, I'm not doing it. So you have to let me know. AGLET, Adlet, don't forget it. Yo, if you know where that's from, pound that shit. You're a real one. Come on, bro. All right. If we get a thumbs up for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I'll play it. I'll play it sometime. Okay. Yeah. Or if we get like a twinkle. Yeah, do like the twinkle emoji instead, actually. All right. So let's go on to 6. Because this is where things get very interesting. So 6 is the evolving unique self. And this is the 3rd eye, which is associated with intuition. Also, this is like the most spiritual organ. So I'll say this is like your spiritual eye. And I'll tell you why I say that in a minute. Actually, no, I'll tell you why I say that now. When you're tapping into, like when you have when you have an embodied experience of this, your entire perspective of like life and evolving changes. Now, does this mean that we start denying the physical plane, that we start denying our experiences, that we start denying our feelings? No, because I started doing that, and you cannot do that. Okay? Right? You can't. You can never be ungrounded. You are a human. Okay? You are a human. Okay? Be a human first, because that is what you are. Right? Of course, we can see through the eye of God. We can see through our mind's eye. We can see through the spiritual eye. And we can see reality for the truth of what it is. We can see beyond the 3D, right? That is, what this is for. And so we cultivate this and we understand that we are actually not just a unique self. We are not just a puzzle piece, but we are actually an evolving puzzle piece. Like we are expanding. And so you can actually conceptualize this as let's start at like level 4, like I am statements. We can kind of figure out one for these ones later. I hadn't figured those out. But Mark was talking about I am statements for 4 through 7. The I am statement for true self is I am being. Right? The true self says I am oneness. There is one and I am. I am being. The unique self says I am a unique expression of being. Okay. The evolving unique self is I am becoming. I am evolution. I am a unique expression of the one, a unique self that is constantly expanding, that is constantly evolving. And this is why growth is a requirement. This is why when we start stagnating, this is why when we get too comfortable and we don't make progress for a certain amount of time, we start feeling bad and it starts being like, man, life sucks, man. And we start getting apathetic and lethargic. It's like, we've all been there. Yeah, we've all been there. And it's like the thing is, that happens because you're out of line with reality. You are supposed to be expanding, growing, evolving. And this is why my first pillar of esoteric self-improvement is lifelong learning, because you have to expand. You have to expand your mind. You have to expand what your body can do, right? You have to expand what your consciousness is able to perceive, your awareness. You have to expand what your heart and what your mind is able to, and what your body's able to enact and embody, right? You have to be able to expand, and evolve. It's not like people stay like a baby when they come out of the womb. Like, it's not like you're born a baby and then you're like, oh, guess we're babies forever. Nope, we get older, right? That's evolution. There were, cells, and I mean, if we want to talk about like science, like the Big Bang started, right? And from there was like, dust and shit and rocks, and for billions of years, that shit started compiling up and shit like that. It's like, then life started happening with the planets and shit, and then shit, microcell organisms, and then multicell organisms, and a bunch of bullshit. I've forgotten a lot of science, unfortunately. I love science. I should go back. I do want to go back, actually. I do want to go back. I will. But like evolution. Evolution is our nature, period. And so when you're not evolving, when you're not learning, when you're not expanding, when you're not integrating, then you're not in alignment with evolution. And it's not just evolution, right? It's about what your unique self is evolving into, right? Because if you're just expanding with others, right, then you're really at pre-personal self, right? It's more of a distortion. It's way more distorted, right? The expansion of like, oh, I'm just giving into this is like, that's like a tribalistic mindset. You know what I mean? It's like I have no unique self. There's like there's only the growth of the tribe. Like, that's a pre-personal concept. That could be like a cult, you know what I mean? It's like, that is not good. And so you have to have a sense of unique self. You have to have this sense of individuation. That is very important. But that is not the end-all be-all, right? We are a unique self, which is a part of a collective, a puzzle, right? We're a puzzle piece that's a part of a puzzle. Think about like being, I mean, this is kind of interesting, right? Think about the one being a constantly expanding puzzle piece, right? It's still just one puzzle piece. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you, as the one expands, are also getting bigger. And your piece is also getting more intricate. It's getting more beautiful. The things that are on it, the details, right? It's getting more carvings. Maybe there are some bruises here and there, but you know what? As those come over, they actually stand the time. They look kind of beautiful. It's like, that is the nature of evolution. We are growing and we are becoming more and more unique as the one expands. That is, where is it at? Number 7, the unique self symphony. Fuck me. Fucking don't know how to spell. The unique self symphony. And this is the crown. And they say that the crown is when you emerge back with the all. Right? And it's this real embodiment of true oneness and uniqueness, true sameness and uniqueness. This is so beautiful that Mark said. He said that intimacy is created in the dance between sameness and uniqueness. And I thought about that and I was like, that is so fucking beautiful. And it just like instantly brought me back to like a lot of my friends growing up. And there'd be like constantly times where we'd grown up and we'd be like, oh man, it's like, that's twin. Or it's like, wow, we're really all the same. It's like, we're the same person. We all think the same. And then there's other times where it's like, yo, I'm nothing like y'all, bro. It's like, y'all niggas be tripping. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, hey, I mean, that reflects now with where I am and where most of them are. You know what I mean? It's like, out of the 10, 11 of us, there's 2, 3 of us, me included, that are actually getting after it for real, that aren't just bullshitting. That's what it is. But, like that dance between uniqueness and sameness, that was what created the relationship. Most relationships are founded on what? Mutual interest. Sameness. But if you were exactly the same, it'd be boring. There's no polarity. You know what I mean? Polarity, that's what creates attraction, right? Difference. And so you have to be able to hold that paradox of sameness and uniqueness, right? Your sameness usually holds on value and principle and what you believe and where you want to go, your direction, your goals, your vision. That's where it should go, at least. That's where your sameness should be, at least. For most people, it's not, which is another story. And then your uniqueness is more in maybe your, um, uh, like your personality and the things you like, like your interests, things like that, things of that nature. You know what I mean? It's like your perspective is the unique self symphony. It's you want to work towards something together, which is the symphony, right? Think about a symphony. This is actually when Mark said this. This is when I knew like, oh, this teaching is the teaching, because I've actually kind of had this like conceptualization of like the cosmic symphony, or the orchestra, and how like we are all a crucial aspect of this symphony, and how it's like, yeah, it's like we are all needed in this. Like I was thinking about this like a year ago, and when I heard this in the pod, I was like, bro, fuck, this is crazy. Like what a sync, right? It's like we are all musicians. We're all creators. We are all artists, and we all have to express in that way. And a lot of us don't express, and like I said, that's a misalignment. That's a no-no. You need to create, all right? You got to create. And so it's like, I think that a lot of us would benefit so much if we saw that, wait, hold up. In this universe, this beautiful and vast and abundant universe, and yeah, at times it slaps us in the face, and shit is real. And there's real darkness here. I'm not some like all love and light motherfucker. I'm all about love and light, absolutely. But to not see darkness, I mean, that would be insane. Now I was telling you guys about like my own darkness. I mean, I've been like I didn't actually talk about that exactly in terms of like me battling and like me struggling with lust like recently, in terms of like slipping back into pornography like more often over like the past couple weeks. Like I've over the last 8 months, from May to July, I was like super good, and then from August to October, shit was really really bad. Mainly because I was in a relationship, and so I was like I'd broken my retention, and then at that point I started like my desire was getting distorted, and it was because I was denying a part of myself, which was my want to dominate and to be above. That's a desire I have. And so it's like I was denying that part of myself, and it was very hard because I saw it as distorted, and I saw it as, oh, this is evil, this is separation, this is demonic. I shouldn't want these things, right? I shouldn't desire these things. But Mark, he was talking about how we all have unique sexuality and how we all have that unique intimacy. I mean, honestly, I really started getting a better understanding of this in The Way to Superior Man, because Data talks about this as well. And this is when I really started getting some healing about this. But part 5 of Way to Superior Man is titled Your Dark Side. And this was very, very, very useful for me. I actually I really got to re-go through Way to Superior Man. But that's, for me, it's been manifesting a lot recently. And so I've been trying to put into my awareness, like, what is it that I want with my relationship, with my sexuality, my sexual desire, my relationship with women, yeah, honestly. And a lot of it has to do with, honestly, I'll just keep it a buck, monogamy versus polyamory. And not that like I want like multiple committed relationships at once. I would never be about that. That's crazy shit, honestly. But like ethical non-monogamy, right? That's what they call it on Tinder or something, right? But it's been very interesting trying to hold that and not slip into the shadow too much. And so I've been playing a lot with that, and it's been hard, honestly. It's been tough trying to hold that. But I'm not gonna lie, trying to do this, and even if I am like slipping into lust and I'm like watching porn, it's like I don't like have any like real shame about it, honestly, because I know that like I'm holding this consciously and I'm trying to figure something out within myself. And of course, there's going to be times where this is hard, and I was like, ah, fuck, I probably shouldn't have done that. And it's like, yeah, this isn't actually what I want. Things like this take experimenting. Things take action in order to feel misalignment, right? You feel that misalignment, but what happens because you are misaligned? That only happened because it manifested. It's enacted, right? Feelings are a reflection of what's already happened, right? They're a byproduct. And so we have to see that and be like, okay, we have to feel that. And we have to go within our body. We have to go within our consciousness and our heart. And we have to internalize and ask ourselves, where is the source of this coming from? The thing is, your body and your heart and your mind are very, very, very intelligent. If you just get the fuck out of the way, they'll tell you. I promise you. And you don't have to you don't have to trust me on that. Just trust your body on that. Like it's the truth. And so I've been, personally struggling with this, but although it's, something I'm battling with, it's not something I'm like, oh yeah, it's not like something I'm really holding in darkness and in shame. It's not like that because I know that this is something that I have to try to integrate within myself. I have to integrate this darkness. I have to hold that because that is a part of my unique self. And I know that as I hold that part of my unique self and as I expand, as I learn from that, I'll be able to help other people from that. I talk about in the Digital Alchemist Blueprint. That's my book. It's free, by the way. If you go to my page and check it out, you can cop it there. But I talk about like the Digital Alchemist Blueprint is called a No BS Guide to the Arts of Digital and Mental and Digital Transmutation. And I talk about this concept of shifting or of transmuting pain to purpose. I inherently see pain and purpose as two opposites, as two sides of the same coin, right? They're two poles, right? All opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree, and thus we can transmute from one to the other. Just as you can turn what's that thing called? Frozen water? Ice? You can turn ice into steam just by heating it up. You can transmute all things that are of the same essence, right? You can just transmute it from one manifestation to another. And I genuinely see pain as a manifestation of of purpose. It's kind of distorted, but it still gets you to that point of growth, of evolution, after you shine light on the pain and you see that what this brought you was actually learning, was lessons, right? You can see that this pain, although this tragedy happened, right? All this experience was hard, although this struggle happened, you can integrate this. You can find the shadow. You can find these parts that are the dark and held deep in your awareness, and you don't have to hold them there anymore. You don't have to hold them down anymore. You can actually hold them, right? You don't have to push them away, and you shouldn't push them away because all non-rejection will create more suffering. I just learned what Tantra actually means. Tantra is all about non-rejection. What is non-rejection but accepting the relationship that you have with all things, all parts of yourself, all parts of this human experience, all part of this spiritual experience, all relationships that you have with other people. That doesn't mean that you're gonna have a great relationship with everybody. No. Right? Like it doesn't mean you have to condone bullshit or like that you have to have people that are toxic in your life or any of that bullshit. Fuck that. I mean, get that shit out of there. Get far away from that, please. But what it does mean is that in the depths of who you truly are, you have to be willing to shine light on those and see the parts of your unique self that you're not willing to accept, the parts that you've been told aren't true, the parts of yourself that you have been putting off because you've been told that they're not good enough, that they'll never be, oh yeah, you can't make money doing that. Oh yeah. What's interesting? I don't make any money. And yet it's like I'm way more paid than most people. Oh man. Bro, if like laughter was a currency, which it is, laughter is the currency of joy. It's like, bro, I'm way more paid than most people. Oh Oh man, that's funny, man. Like most people got money, and I'm gonna get that too. That's a fact. That's a promise. But it's like you don't have love, you don't have fulfillment, you don't have creativity, you don't have joy, you don't have peace, you don't have bliss. Your desire is distorted. You don't have purpose. Like you don't have love for life. That is not how life should be. I'm pretty sure no babies come out of their mama with zero love for life. Babies are love because that is what we are. Eros, as Mark would say. I'm not going to talk about that. That is way too deep. The infinite expansion of love, of beauty, of intelligence, of desire. You are a manifestation of that. And as that, you have a unique role to play in this unique self symphony. You have a instrument to play, you have a mark to hit, you have a chord to hit, you have a song to provide, right? You have a note to hit. Shit. Maybe you're the one that just looks the cutest. That's valid. Nah, I'm playing. Anyways. All portions of the Unique Self Symphony, everybody is a contributor. Because without a piece, the puzzle is incomplete. And the all cannot be incomplete. So, that is the 7 levels of self and chakra connection. Yeah. You guys got any questions? Or comments? Yoink. You might throw these back on, okay.
I'm gonna take that as a no. All right. Before we end, we gotta hit this. No one dropped a twinkle, so you guys kind of suck. But fuck it, I want to hit it anyway. All right. All right. Let's see if see if I'm a bot. I'm gonna just hit the first part again. So it'll just be like the twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Wait, no. Wait. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I'm gonna hit that part. Okay. Let me get this. Ah, shit. Actually, let me finesse this for real. Let me finesse this for real. Let me see. Let me get this so I can see this. Shit. There we go. Damn it. I need to fucking turn this on. There we go. All right, bear with me for a second. There we go. Do that. That's fine. I'm just gonna. All right, Lydiana. Oh yeah. Okay, we're out here. All right, let's see. So it's. Hold on. I'm gonna attempt to. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna actually play it. Okay, wait, no, I fucked that up already. See, that's so funny. Yo, if I did that, I would have been Dunsville. See, that can't be my one attempt. That can't be my one attempt. You feel me? I only get one attempt on live, bro. I'm only getting one attempt on live. Oh shit. Oh fuck, that's funny. There we go. Okay. All right, let's run this shit. So we go placement like this. Okay. All right. Fuck it. Let's go. Hold on, let me start the recording on these. Wait, why can't I record here? Stop fucking with me, bro. Oh, these motherfucking glasses, bro.
Yeah.
There we go. The fuck? We're not recording. Record. This is some bullshit. All right, fuck it. I might just hit this. Let's go. Fuck. I'm so trash. Nah, I should have just kept going. I should have just kept going. I shouldn't have called myself trash too. That's not true. Damn, I haven't done that in so long. I'm getting so much better. Good job, Jay. Yo, I used to like, bro, like when I was a gamer, right, bro? I used to like rage and like, oh man, I swear, I used to like self-abuse so much, like mentally. That shit is not good, bro. Please stop abusing yourself mentally and emotionally, guys. Okay? You should not be doing that shit. Stop talking to yourself how your parents talk to you. All right? Fuck me. Fuck. All right. Let's run this shit up, baby. And a one, and a two, and a 1, 2, 3, go. Yo, we did it. Let's go. What? Oh, shit. All right, I'm out this bitch. I'll catch y'all next time, gang.